Pearson has stated that the templates are not going to work anymore. Don't worry, I have a solution for you guys. This video is going to be for templates for describe image and Retell lecture from November onwards. I have basically made a template which is basically considering all the requirements, all the changes which have been made by Pearson. So I'll be going through different type of questions, but I'll be also showing you how to implement this template, not only for describe image, but also for the Retell lecture. So this template is basically made to make sure that the content portion is taken care of, because as Pearson has stated that from now onwards human examiner will also be reviewing describe image content in Retell lecture. So let's talk about describe image first. The very first sentence is going to be same. That phrase was the main topic of the image. If it is a bar graph, you're going to say bar graph. It's a chart, you're going to say chart. It's a line graph, flow chart, and so on. You're going to say as it is. Then we will be going to the second sentence, which says keyword and keyword was on the left side of the image. Sometimes there is no left side, there's top side. So you can say just top of the image. Similarly, the second sentence, which will be for keyword and keyword was on the right side of the image. And then keyword and keyword was also highlighted. Now, these four sentences are very similar to a current template. But what changes we have made? We have made certain changes when it comes to the images with no content. You need to add these sentences. And when you get the images like bar graphs, charts, tables, then you need to include these sentences. Let's talk about images where you're not going to get any content. So the very first sentence would be keyword was the maximum or first stage or first element. So you're going to pick one of the keyword and you're going to use trees as the first element, for example, and then you're going to pick another keyword, let's say graphs was the second element. So this is what you're going to say when you have images with no content. And then you can also pick up one more sentence, dash was the third element. And then you're going to say conclusion. To conclude, phrase was the main feature. Now this is what you have to do when you do not get any content in the image or very less content. So this is how you're going to speak moving onwards, because Pearson wants you guys to use some kind of trends, some kind of analysis from the image. Okay, now let's see how we do it when it comes to the graphs. Now when it comes to the graphs, you can see we're going to use additional sentences. The very first sentence, additional one, would be that keyword was highest at the particular number, whereas another keyword was lowest at a particular number. Now you need to give such kind of trend, such kind of analysis. Otherwise, Pearson will mark your answer as an average answer or below average answer. Now guys, this is very important. If you get 0 mark in the content, you will not get any marks for fluency or pronunciation. So please make sure that you include such trends. And one more trend you're going to include, that moreover in a particular area, particular year, particular number, a particular keyword was at a particular figure, and similarly another keyword was at different number. So let's say they have given you a year, let's say 2000, where they have given you figure for cars, figure for bikes. So you will say in 2000 car figure was at certain number, whereas the bikes figure was at certain number. So this is another trend you need to include. So we will be including highest and lowest. Then we will be picking up a certain figure, certain year, and then we will be showing the difference between two different or three different or maybe single trend, single segment. Okay, in this case, as a hypothetical example, it was cars and bikes. And obviously then you're going to use the last sentence to conclude as it is. To conclude, phrase is going to be the main topic which we have used over here, was the main feature. Now let me quickly show you the example. Let's say this is a bar graph. Over here, what's the main topic? Vehicle sales by region. What's on the left side? Thousands of vehicles. What's on the right side? Cars and trucks. Then we can also say first quarter and second quarter was also highlighted. Then we're going to pick only one particular segment where we will use highest and lowest. That's what you need to do. Whenever you get any image moving onwards, quickly in 25 seconds, firstly see which is the highest one, which is the lowest one. In this case, the highest is Asia and the lowest one is Europe. After you have said that the highest is at around 310 and the lowest, which is Europe, is at around 60 or 70, doesn't matter. Okay, then you are going to say one more trend, which in this case we will pick first quarter. So you can say in first quarter, in this case USA was at maximum and Africa was at minimum. So you have to make sure that you pick two trends, one highest and lowest, and then one specific area, specific year, specific quarter in this case. So this is a sample response. Let me do this one for you guys. So let me start with the sample response. Vehicle sales by region was the main topic of the image. Thousands of vehicles was on the left side of the image. Cars and trucks was on the right side of the image. First quarter and second quarter was also highlighted. Asia was highest at 310, whereas Europe was lowest at 80. Moreover, in first quarter, USA was around at 260, but Africa was at 40. To conclude, vehicle sales by region was the main feature. That's it. So you're going to cover the topic. You're going to cover the left side, right side, top side or the bottom side. Then you're going to use one more sentence where you're going to pick up couple of keywords and you are going to say dash and dash was also highlighted. After that, you're going to say highest figure and lowest figure. So in this case, highest figure was for Asia. So we picked up the figure, but we said Asia was highest at 310 and Europe was lowest at 80. And then you're going to pick a particular specific year, specific segment. In this case, we picked first quarter. Then you're going to say the highest and lowest from that particular segment. So in this case, in first quarter, USA was highest at 250, whereas Africa was lowest at 40. So over here, you don't even have to say highest and lowest, just tell the numbers, tell the names, and then conclusion. To conclude, or you can say in conclusion, that's both of them are fine. To conclude, vehicle sales by region was the main feature. Now, this is what you need to do with every single type of bar graph, line chart, even for pie chart as well. And you need to make sure that you include the trends. A lot of students are not including the trends currently in the templates, and that's the major change which Pearson expects out of you guys. Let me show you one more sample. Now let's do this pie chart. So the smallest one, we can say the lowest one or the minimum one is chemical recycling at 0.38 million tons, and the maximum size or the maximum element in this case is 5.02 million tons. Then material recycling is at 2.4 and unrecycling is 1.84. Okay. And we can use any particular words for the main topic because they have not given us the main topic. So we will say unrecycling and thermal. Okay, easier to go with this way. Unrecycling and thermal recycling was the main topic of the image. 0.38 million tons was on the left side and 5.02 million tons was on the right side of the image. Material recycling and 2.04 million tons was also highlighted. Thermal recycling was highest at 5.02 million tons, whereas chemical recycling was lowest at 0.38 million tons. Moreover, in material recycling, it was at 2.04 million tons, but unrecycling was at 1.85 million tons. To conclude, recycling was the main feature. So not to worry, what we are doing is we are just putting the keywords in the sentences and we are showing them as a trend. We are showing them as comparisons. Okay, so one is highest, one is lowest, and one particular point was over here in this particular area and one particular point was here in this particular year. That's what you need to do. That's it. Okay, so make sure that you don't make it too complex. Now when it comes to the images with no content, first part of the template is going to be same. So if I show you the very first part again, the very first part, this remains same. You just need to include dash was the maximum element, or you can say dash was the first element and dash was the second element, and that's it. No other change is required. I will be also including the part on the image on a portal as well. So you can go to a portal and sign up over there. I will be making a tutorial on images as well and how to use this template. Now this was for describe image, guys, but you have to make sure that you show the trends, and on top of that you also have to make sure that you use different kind of vocab to illustrate those trends, okay, such as highest, lowest, maximum, minimum. And make sure, guys, in 25 seconds you are very well versed with all set of keywords, all set of trends which you want to say, because still your fluency and pronunciation will be marked by the computer, that means by AI. So that means if you're taking too many pauses, too many fumbles, you're going to reduce or you're going to get penalties. Okay, so this is very important. Let's talk about Retell lecture. What has changed in Retell lecture? Pearson does not want you guys to use single words anymore. They want relevant keywords with the topic. Okay, so the very first important thing you need to keep in mind moving onwards is that when you take notes, your notes should be in phrases. It should not be single words, and those phrases should be in relation to the main topic. So the thing which is being repeated again and again in the lecture, most of the time, that's the main topic. So what you have to do is you have to keep on noting down phrases, and then once you have completed the entire notes, then you have to make sure that you use this template on the screen to speak. I will show you one quickly, but let me quickly go through this template once. So the very first sentence is phrase was the main topic of the lecture. So over here we're going to use the main important phrase. Then initially phrase was told by the speaker. Then moreover phrase was also discussed. Additionally phrase was also mentioned. Then phrase was also highlighted. Lastly, phrase was also given in the lecture. Then to conclude, phrase, over here you can put different phrase, or if you don't have enough keywords you can use the same set of keywords which you use in the first sentence. Was the focus of the lecture, or you can say keep note of the lecture or important point of the lecture. You can use different set of vocab, right? This is going to give you little bit of variance, little bit of flexibility. Now let me show you one how I take notes, and then I'll show you how I speak it. Alright guys, let's do this one. I'm going to take notes on the notebook.
Well, it's about whether you can achieve a win-win solution. Whether you can achieve economic growth, which brings wealth, in order to cut poverty without damaging the biodiversity. And the argument is that if you want to protect biodiversity, you have to focus on that as a goal. But if you do that, you run the risk of hurting the poor, and you also run the risk of inconveniencing and reducing the economic growth. We use the developed and industrialized countries to see this argument, this axis argued about with, let us say, a government wishing to start drilling for oil in place X, which is full of wildlife, and Wildlife Conservation Society is urging them not to on the grounds that it's a wilderness refuge. We used to that debate. What I'm saying is that in the developing world there's a third axis, and it's a complex one.
Economic growth was the main topic of the lecture. Initially, cutting poverty was told by the speaker. Moreover, damaging the biodiversity was also discussed. Additionally, the risk of hurting the poverty was also mentioned. Then industrial countries was also highlighted. Lastly, drilling for oil was also given in the lecture. To conclude, Wildlife Conservation Society was the keynote of the lecture. So as you can see on the screen, I've got almost perfect scores. Fluency, I've got few deductions. Obviously I am not using the microphone, but still I've got 14.2 out of 15, which is a very decent score. Now this is what you need to keep in mind, guys. When you use the Retell lecture, you need to make sure that you use the phrases. Don't use single words. Okay, phrases are going to help you, right, to get better marks in the content now. And that's what they're going to look after when they are going to check your answer, specifically by the human experts. Now these are the changes which you need to look after, you need to adapt, so that you can get good scores in your speaking module and also towards your listening module. I'm going to put more updates, more experiments moving onwards, guys. So if you're new to a channel, make sure that you do subscribe, and I will be posting up updates from 4th of November. And I wish every single of you guys all the best. Use the template, practice it a couple of times so that you guys can get a hang of it. But don't overwhelm yourself. Let's say even if one of the trends you say here and there, that's fine. Don't panic. Maintain the flow, okay? But use the trends. Don't just keep on repeating same template lines again and again, because that's definitely going to be banned. All the best to everyone. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and share this video with your friends who have booked their exam, who are planning to book their exam in the coming future. Thank you guys. Vishal is signing off from VLE. I'll see you next time.